Sometimes all you need is style. I clearly need more style. I mean, I'd take some hair for a start. But anyway, the Fiat 500 has been a runaway sales success since it came back in 2007, thanks in part to looking like it driven straight off a Milan catwalk for cars. So today I want to find out if the Fiat 500 is molto bene, or if you shouldn't touch it with a soiled gondola stick. Is that a thing? It's probably not the right word for it. Anyway, let's go. Now, I know it's deeply unstylish to talk about money, but the Fiat 500 is an affordable car. It costs from less than £15,000 for a brand new one, and we've got loads in stock here at Motorpoint for under 10 grand, so it makes sense as a first car. Secondly, there's a new all-electric version of the Fiat 500, which is very good, but it's also very £30,000. It's horrifically expensive, so we're not talking about that today, just the regular petrol version. The Fiat 500 trades on its looks in a way that I could only dream of, frankly, and that's because it draws inspiration from the iconic Fiat 500 from the late 1950s. It's all warm and cuddly and friendly, like Dory from Finding Nemo, whereas something like an Audi A1 is more like the aggressive sharks that are going through fish-eating rehab. That friendliness also extends to parking. Look how small it is. It's only 3.6 meters long. If you want a smaller car than this, and frankly, you're going to have to get a smart car or just get a motorbike and cut your losses. It's even got a little button on the dashboard that you can prod to make the steering super light for urban parking maneuvers. I think that's what that is. The Fiat 500's onslaught of style continues here in the cabin, where it just looks very nice. However, it does feel a little bit plasticky because it is an affordable car. You're going to get that. This is a limited edition Dolce Vita model. It gets black and white two-tone seats, which are nice, but also make you think like you're sitting on a killer whale. There isn't anything killer about this car's technology. You've got quite a basic instrument cluster. You've got the speed around the outside, the revs in the middle. You get a 7-inch touchscreen for infotainment on everything but the entry-level model. And you can plug your phone in to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on that, so you don't have to use Fiat SatNav. You can use Google Maps on your phone. Hooray! You've also got quite a lot of storage for a small car. I've got a nice handy phone bin down here with some USBs next to it so I can charge my phone. I've got 2 little cup holders. I've got okay sized door bins. And on this one, I've got a nice sunroof as well to let some of that lovely Peterborough winter light in. One thing it's not so good at storing though is humans in the back seats, as we're about to find out at the cost of my dignity. When I thought I'd be reviewing a Fiat 500, I kind of saw myself cruising around the streets of Florence, eating pastries and pizzas and pasta. Instead, I'm jammed in the back like a sardine in a cold bit of Peterborough. It's really not great back here for adults. It has got Isofix on the outer seats, but if your child seat has a leg on it, it's really not gonna fit. There's also a mild hybrid battery underneath the passenger seat, which has got a big sticker on it saying, don't put your feet on this box. So you're not even allowed to put your feet under the seats. It's awful. Yeah, you knew that, but here's a 6'3" bald man showing you why it's bad. I've just realised the fuel filler needs the key to unlock it. That's very old-fashioned. Now, round the back of the Fiat 500, the stylish Serenity is spoiled by a lie. This hybrid badge, it's not really a hybrid. It's a mild hybrid, so it's got an integrated starter-generator motor, which helps the engine cut out when you're coasting, and it helps you reduce your emissions when you're starting up. It's not a proper hybrid. It cannot drive on electric power alone. But anyway, let's talk about the boot space. It's actually pretty decent for a small car. 185 litres of stuff will fit in here. It's a nice wide opening. We're going to do the big boot challenge in a second. But look, the rear seats fold down 50-50 to give you a much bigger space, 550 litres. The only downside then is you've got this big lip here, so you can't slide stuff all the way in, but it's pretty good, and it wins the award for the cutest little parcel shelf ever. But is it cuter than the Motorpoint Big Boot Challenge? No, it's not. Nothing is. Yes, the Fiat 500 has failed the Big Boot Challenge, but I'm still a bit disappointed. I can't even close the boot with one big bag in there because there's no cutout in the inside of this boot card here. But anyway, I know most people are only going to use the Fiat 500 as a 2-seater, so I'm going to put the back seats down and try again in our first ever Big Boot Challenge, the sequel. Take 2. Right, we cheated a bit, but like pushy parents with some after-school GCSE tutoring, we got the 500 a pass. So if you are going to do an airport run with you and one other person and 2 big bags and 2 small bags, you'll still have some room to spare if you fold the back seats down. But what won't be cheating is our analysis of the Fiat 500's composure out on the public roads, which is where we're going now. Right, let's go for a drive in our little Fiat 500. And the first thing you notice when you get in is, for a tall person, I'm 6'3", the driving position is a little bit weird. I've got to sit quite close, my legs are bent up, but then my arms are stretched out. It's very Italian, and the steering wheel only goes up and down. It doesn't adjust in and out. But otherwise, yeah, this should be fairly easy to drive. The view out all around is pretty good. If you've got the 500C, that's the ragtop convertible. It's not really a convertible. The roof just bunches up at the back. That can limit visibility out the back a little bit when the roof is down or folded back. In terms of engines, you've got very few choices nowadays in the UK. This is the 1 litre mild hybrid version, which is a naturally aspirated, that means non-turbocharged, 3-cylinder petrol with 70 horsepower. It should get you about 53 mpg, and it's obviously not especially fast. Older versions get a 1.2 litre petrol, which has similar power to this, a little bit less efficient and a little bit less fun. And then there's a 0.9 turbocharged version in the older versions as well, called the Twin Air. And that was really good, really punchy, but it's quite hard to find these days, even at Motorpoint. Right, we're going to get on some dual carriageways and talk about refinement at motorway speeds, just as it starts to rain. I'm at motorway speeds in the Fiat 500, and it took a little while to get here, to be frank. It's not very fast, but refinement, it's kind of what you expect from a small car. I've got a reasonable amount of wind noise, mostly from the roof. And if you get the 500C convertible, in my experience, that lets in quite a lot of wind noise, even when the roof is shut. MPG, as I've said, getting about 53. Safety, we should talk about. It's only got a 3-star Euro NCAP rating from 2017. General safety was okay, but it hasn't got lots of the electronic safety tech like automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist. None of that's even an option, so it lost a few stars. But that does mean it can be more expensive than you might think to insure, especially if you're buying it as your first car. So it's just something to be aware of. Otherwise, well, it's okay for long journeys. You wouldn't really dread them, but there are better cars for it, such as a Mini. But anyway, we're going to head out on some country roads and see if it's fun to drive. Right, we're on a country road now in the Fiat 500, and this is quite a bumpy road, and it does just, again, feel like a small car. It's a little bit jiggly, it's a little bit unsettled. It's not uncomfortable, it just, you wouldn't want to do a long bumpy drive in it. In terms of handling though, it's not quite as fun as a Mini to drive, but it's certainly got that nippiness, and it just really wants to live at home in the city, darting in and out of traffic. So yeah, it's not a car you would drive quickly down a country road having lots of fun, but it's okay. It is fine. Look, there's a corner coming up, the brakes, they're fine. I'm going to use the word fine quite a lot. And around we go. I don't want to go around there any faster than that, especially because it's raining. But yeah, really, it's at home in town. But that said, you can do motorway journeys in reasonable comfort. It's kind of what you expected probably. But anyway, let's go back to Motorpoint for an outro. In many ways, the Fiat 500 is a compromised car. It's not the most comfortable thing. It's not at home on the motorway especially. And parts of it feel quite cheap, but that's the thing, it is an affordable car, and it is a very stylish one. It's kind of one of those cars that you know if you want one, and nothing else will do. And as long as you can accept those compromises, and the fact that it hasn't got some of the latest safety tech, then well, go and get one. Grazie mille for watching this video. If it's been helpful, please hit like and do subscribe to Motorpoint YouTube channel. It's got plenty more nearly new car reviews coming up very soon. I'll see you next time.